Miss Alameen on?
No. No.
Hi, Susan.
Hi,
You got 4.
How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good.
Jackie's on.
Okay.
You got quorum.
All right. All right. So good evening and welcome to our second city council meeting in the month of January. Would someone like to offer up prayer?
I'd like to take a moment of silence.
That's great.
Ashe.
Chief? Chief, you got our flag?
Yes, I do.
Thank
Over my
you, sir.
shoulder. You want to lead us off?
I pledge allegiance
Allegiance
to the flag of the United States
of
of
America,
America
and
and
to the
to the
republic
republic for which it stands,
stands
One nation.
one nation,
under God, indivisible,
with
with
liberty
liberty and
and
justice
justice for
for
all.
all. Very well.
So sorry. I am back on the call. So sorry.
Okay, we're coming out of an executive session where we discuss real estate, legal matters, and personnel. And right now, I would like for an approval of our minutes for our January 11th meeting. Can I get a motion?
Second.
Sorry, who was that?
Me.
Councilperson Alameen and Councilperson Polk.
Thank you.
Are there any questions or comments regarding the minutes? Polk Council, please.
Councilmember Folks,
Yes.
Councilmember Hunt,
She's not on.
Councilmember Alameen,
Yes.
Councilmember Graves,
Yes.
Councilmember Green,
Yes.
Councilmember Lavender Norris.
Yes.
5-0 carries.
Thank you. Please let the record reflect that Councilperson Hunt and Councilperson Simpson are not in attendance this evening. Could I get a motion for approval of our accounts payables?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Thank you.
Are there any questions or comments? Poll council, please.
Councilmember Green,
Yes.
Councilmember Graves,
Yes.
Councilmember Alameen,
Yes.
Councilmember Folks,
Yes.
Councilmember Lavender Norris.
Yes.
5-0 carries.
We have additions, deletions, or modifications.
Doing snowboard tricks.
None at this time.
We have an addition,
Oh, we do.
yes, for the RACP.
Is that a action item?
Yes,
7.4.
yes, RAC P acceptance letter.
Okay, I'll make that motion.
Second.
Was that Councilperson Alameen at second?
Yes.
Yes,
Thank you.
excuse me. Are there any others? Full council, please.
Councilmember Alameen,
Yes.
Councilmember Graves,
Yes.
Councilmember Green,
Yes.
Councilmember Lavender North.
Yes,
You forgot Mr. Fultz.
Sorry, Councilmember Foltz.
Yes.
Thank you.
Councilmember Hunt?
Oh, you
praise
are
the
on?
Lord.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm on.
Praise the Lord.
Thank you.
Ms. Hunt,
Yes.
I'm sorry, I'll wait.
We're actually in the process of, Mr. Logan was polling council regarding our additions, deletions, and modifications.
Yes, thank you.
It was the RAC P acceptance letter that's an addition.
Okay.
Okay. Moving right along to our presentations.
Okay.
Yay, he's right.
Well, I don't think this young lady needs an introduction. We have on the Zoom this evening, Sue Springsteen, the owner of Int Solutions, which is our new innovation center on 190 West Lincoln Highway. And she's here to share with us some new news in regards to, well, I'm just going to let her share what it is.
Thank you, Mr. Logan.
You're welcome.
Well, we had some fabulous news, and it's on the front page of the Daily Local News today, and it's
Yeah.
Krista at the end of last week. And 190 West Lincoln Highway was designated the Coatesville's first Keystone Innovative Zone. So that has a lot of benefits for the companies that will be located there, but it also has a lot of benefits to the city. And I just thought it might be interesting for me to come in and give you just a brief presentation of how it all came to be and what that actually means for the city, because that way when you get questions from people, you'll know the answers. So, because I know you have a lot on your plate. So basically back in December 31st, 2019, we took title to this building. It's hard to believe it actually looked like that. I'm already starting to forget what it used to look like, but that's what it looked like back in December of 2019 and at the West End. And the idea, as you all know, was to make this into a new headquarters for Ent Solutions, H2O Connected, a couple of the companies that we've incubated, and then have a small manufacturing footprint there. So we went about renovating the historic building first, and trying to preserve a lot of the historic features. Just a shout out for this beautiful staircase that's been renovated. That was renovated by Coatesville's own Family First Painting, and David Phillips has done a great job, and he'll be painting the entire interior of the whole structure. So we're really thrilled to be working with him. But during that renovation process, it became very clear to us that we were going to outgrow this building before we even moved in. And so we decided to go ahead with phase 2 and build the companion new building adjacent to it. So that we went to work, we went through land development approval, and you helped us get there in record time and began building this out. So, And the picture on the right is credit to Valley Creek Productions, which is, as you know, also a Coatesville company. So when as we were building this out, we really were able to realize our dream of having a inclusive concept to revenue innovation center that could really take our businesses that we incubate and also independent businesses that just want to locate in Coatesville. We could help support their pathway from early stage startup all the way through to developing their product and supporting them through their early revenue process. And so this new building enabled us to have a second floor in here that really could accommodate independent businesses that wanted to move into the city that may or may not have anything to do with End Solutions. So it was very inclusive. And these are the companies that committed to coming to Coatesville. They're related to us, most of them. H2O Connected started us on this journey because it was that QOZ business that brought me to look at Coatesville. And then End Solutions, Bioforce Analytics, Proud for Capital, and then and Priority Green are all part of our partner companies with End Solutions. So they all are on board to coming. And then we have, since then, we are helping a Coatesville resident with a great idea build out his company, and he'll be located there. And then Balanced Engineering is going to be moving up from Towson to take advantage of both the QOZ and this Keystone Innovative Zone designation. So because we had multiple tech companies under one roof, we thought, let's see if we can get a Keystone Innovative Zone designation. So that would provide just another reason for tech companies, biotech, early stage companies to locate here in Coatesville. So the Keystone Innovative Zone, in case you're not familiar with it, is something that is run through the Department of Economic and Community Development. I have that backwards. Economic and Community Development. They provide $15 million in state tax credits every year that are given to companies located in Keystone Innovative Zones that meet certain criteria. So there are 28 geographic locations in Pennsylvania, and these are really regions. They're not just sort of census tracts or tax parcels. They're regions. So in the beginning, I think the KISS program's been around for, I don't know, 15 years or longer. When they first started it, you know, the 202 corridor near Great Valley Corporate Center was a KIZ, and where End Solutions is located now up in 100 and 113 intersection is a KIZ, but they don't really add a lot of tax parcels very often to this program. So the KIZ that governs our region is through the Chester County Economic Development Council's program, I2N. So our region that we would apply through would be I2N Chester County KIZ, and that covers the Coatesville area. So the purpose of this program is to really provide, it's a way of getting capital to early stage companies that have the ability to grow and create jobs. You know, in Pennsylvania, I think the Pennsylvania does not score well in retaining college graduates in the state. A lot of them leave to go work elsewhere. And so they've been looking for ways to keep college graduates here and also to create scalable jobs that can grow in revenue potential across the board. So for people who are already here and want to stay here. So the idea is, how do you attract technology, biotech, diversified manufacturing, and other industries to come to Pennsylvania, stay in Pennsylvania, and tax credits are certainly a way to do that. So what they offer is for a company that's less than 8 years old, they will offer a 50% tax credit based on your year-over-year revenue growth. So for instance, if H2O Connected this year sells $50,000 worth of leak alerters, and then in 2022 sells $150,000 worth of leak alerters, then I can take that $100,000 increase in my revenue and apply to get a $50,000 tax credit, state tax credit, because I'm a KIZ business less than 8 years old, and I'm a tech company, and I meet some of the other criteria. So they do have periodic expansion through the in the program. And so I started talking to Economic Development Council and I2N about being my advocate and helping us get through the process to see if we could get 190 West designated as a Keystone Innovative Zone. So the companies that will benefit from this are for-profit businesses less than 8 years old. They have to be in a KIS geographic boundary, which as of January 8th, 190 West Lincoln Highway is a KIS geographic boundary. They have to be a growth business where you can see where they could provide, they're going to scale, they're going to provide a growing number of jobs. And they really look for industries, technology, biotech, somebody who has a unique proprietary technology, certain types of manufacturing. So there's an industry qualification as well. So there are numerous benefits to Coatesville. I mean, obviously it benefits the companies, it benefits their investors, but because of those benefits, it attracts those businesses to Coatesville. And, you know, it creates jobs within Coatesville. It helps support the other businesses that are going to pop up within Coatesville, like, you know, your restaurants and all, and the different support businesses that will grow, that are on the horizon for Coatesville. It complements the Qualified Opportunity Zone initiative really well because the OZ initiative tends to have its biggest benefits sort of in the long-term horizon. So for instance, H2O Connected is a Qualified Opportunity Zone business, and there are tax benefits to the investors in the short run through tax deferral and things like that. But the really big benefit is when the company is sold years down the road. So it's more of the big benefit is more long-term. With the KIZ designation, it provides some really early stage benefits to the investors. So that it's a really good complement to have both the QOZ and the KIZ designation in one location. And interestingly enough, I believe that the Nth Innovation Center is the only Nth Innovation Center in the region that has both QOZ and KIZ designation. So that's a big deal. It creates an innovation hub within Coatesville. You know, tech entrepreneurs, we're kind of a strange breed. We all love to kind of collaborate together and sort of, and be around each other, sort of like a bee's nest, because it's a lot of high energy. We all think, there's a certain way we think, and we like being around that kind of energy. So it helps create an innovation hub here in Coatesville. And it also complements the branding that James has been doing and Sonny's been doing, and really getting the Coatesville name out into the marketplace as really the high energy next place to be. So this really supports that Coatesville Rising brand that we're all really trying hard to get out into the mainstream. The other thing that's really interesting here is that the approval process, when you apply for a KIZ designation, typically takes 3 to 6 months. And the Economic and Community Development, DCED approved this in 10 days over Christmas and New Year's. So
Wow.
to me, that underscores, one, that I2N really did a fabulous job putting together the application and talking with everyone at the Commonwealth about why this was so important. But it also underscores that Coatesville is on the radar screen of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. And the Commonwealth really believes in this city, or they would never have approved that this fast. So I think that's really, really exciting to get that kind of approval that quickly. So these are the companies going into the Nth Innovation Center that already qualify that will qualify as KIZ eligible, I guess I should say. And as I said earlier, Balanced Engineering actually was incubated in Towson, Maryland, and is moving to Coatesville because of the OZ and KIZ designation. We're also talking with 2 other businesses that we're hoping to get a chance to incubate and move here. So exciting things happening down at 190 West. The KIZ and the way it attracts these businesses, we really hope it's going to expand the manufacturing in Coatesville. And so there again, it will be able to expand the number of jobs that we can create down at that corner. So we're excited about that. And these jobs range from entry level, and they train up through the skill and income stream so that it really helps people grow their careers. It also helps us expand our high school internship program, because the more companies you have, the more diversification you have in a building, the more opportunities there are for our high school interns. Just as an aside, we've had quite a few conversations with the school district, and we're in the process of formalizing that relationship. So we're really looking forward to expanding our high school internship on a real formal level with the school district. We think that'll be a win-win for all of us.
Right.
And I really can't end it without thanking everyone. You know, it's a big project. We would never have gotten here, and we would never have gotten here this fast if it wasn't for your help, everybody's help and support, and introducing us to who we needed to know, and telling us what we needed to know, and helping us move forward quickly, and encouraging us. And so now, in addition to the city, and we have the Economic Development Council and the state now as our sort of unofficial partners. And so we really are excited. We have, you know, we just don't know where all this is going to go, but we just think that there's a lot more that's going to happen. And we're just so thrilled to have been welcomed into the community by you and everyone else. So thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
You brought a lot to the table, Susan, and this is just awesome. And that's why things are progressing so fast. You guys have worked very hard and very diligently to see this through. And I'm just excited for you.
Thank you.
When I was reading, you have an event center in there, like is it an office space that could be used for a large meeting or something like that?
Yes, we do. On the ground floor, about half that ground floor is a multi-purpose space. So, you know, we'll be able, you know, part of the plan is really to offer classes for, you know, some of our community entrepreneurs. It's sort of helping to grow people from their concept to revenue, really. So we can have all kinds of different educational events. We have a kitchen, and so we can bring in a caterer. We have a podcast room and a video room. So we have, you know, the idea is so we can really be a real part of the community through this kind of infrastructure.
That's fantastic.
It is.
Well, we're glad you're here.
Thank you. Well, I've had a lot to work with. And you know, the team behind me at the team behind, you know, with the developer and the general contractor, and, you know, has been fabulous. Everybody's been just top shelf. So it's been.
I think it's wonderful that you're using Coatesville businesses like Mr. Phillips and the other gentleman, the other one that you mentioned.
Yeah, Valley Creek.
Awesome. Valley Creek, yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, he actually does. We've been having him take aerial drone footage about every 2 days. So when this is all done, we'll have stills and drone footage and video of the whole progression. He's done that for us. So, you know, that'll be able to be used for a lot of different reasons, for promoting Coatesville, for, you know, things that we do, because, you know, it's easy to forget what it looked like. And so we really tried first to use it, to look within the city for everything that we needed first. And, you know, if we couldn't find it in the city, then we went outside. But one of the first lessons I learned when I got to the city was, when you need something, you look in your neighborhood first. And so we've tried to do that.
I thank you. I really appreciate that. That shows the level of commitment that you have for Coatesville.
Yeah,
it's awesome. From the time you stepped into the city, you were open and ready and willing to just engage people. And I just so appreciate, I remember when we met, and like, we've been able to just communicate as though we've known each other for years, because that's how you communicate and present yourself to people. And I appreciate that. Like, you're a trendsetter up there on that corner.
Mhm.
And the way you promote the city is amazing. I thank you. I appreciate it.
Oh, well,
Ellen gotta watch her step.
no, you need Ellen. You need Ellen. Ellen doesn't have to worry about me.
Yeah, but thank you so much, Susan.
Well, thank you. I mean, the whole community across the board has just really welcomed us. You know, it's really been great. So, and we look forward to just seeing where all this goes. So, thank you.
Very well. Any other council member want to say anything to Ms. Springsteen?
Oh, I would just like to say thank you so much, Mrs. Springsteen. This is so awesome. I can't wait to see what it becomes, because it's already off to a great start. And once again, thank you for always prioritizing our Coatesville small businesses as you build out this framework.
Thank you.
And I just wanted to say, Susan, thank you so much. I'm so excited that you're here. I can't wait for the ribbon cutting. And you have been an active person in our community. You and I worked together with the Phillips on their Thanksgiving dinner. And so I just appreciate everything that you do. And I appreciate that you do use the local residents that have businesses here that can give you the things that you need in your new project. So I'm really thankful for that. And thank you for being a part of Coatesville.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
How you doing, Sue?
Hi.
Yeah, I remember when you first came to Coatesville, we had this symposiums, and at the last one, you was talking to the people, and you said, oh, maybe it was the second one, and you said, I walked around the town and I talked to the residents, and they're good people. I remember when you said that, I said, this woman here has to stay in Coatesville because you came in and you hit the ground and you didn't go to, high up. You went to the residents of this town and asked them about this town. So you was more interested in the people when you first came here than you yourself. So that what impressed me. And everything you do from now on is just, extra. But that there, when you said you enjoy the people that lived here, anything you do now is just extra. That right there sold me and sold a whole lot of people. So thank you, Sue.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I often tell people that it was the qualified opportunity zone that got me to get out of my car and look at the city, but it was the people that convinced me to stay. So it's really the people are really there. It's a great group here. So
That's what I'm talking about.
Okay. And Sue's our only presentation, so we can move along. Thank you so much, Susan.
Have a great
Thank
night.
you.
Yeah, thank you. We appreciate you.
Thank you so much.
Do we have any discussion regarding meeting minutes? How about parks and hoops?
Yes, Council President, Parks and Hoops, item 5.2. Chip Houston and I attended a municipal managers meeting about a week ago via Zoom. And the discussion came up in terms of what parks and what municipalities and townships are going to be doing in 2021. And as an ongoing discussion, we still are, kind of in COVID, coming out of COVID. We have vaccines, on their way. But there still is the big question of what are we going to do in our cities in terms of events? Most of the municipalities that I asked, in terms of, the basketball courts and activities in their parks, most of them have their hoops up. They're allowing the kids to get out. The kids are out playing. I mean, they need an outlet. So I just wanted to bring it to our council tonight for a brief discussion on what our next step is going to be in terms of, our parks are open. The kids are, if they're not here playing basketball, they're going to other communities to play. We do have the guidelines up. In our parks, we have signs that say wash your hands, use hand sanitizers. So my recommendation tonight would be for you all to consider allowing us to put up our basketball courts and allowing our young people to get out, stretch their legs, and enjoy the sport that they love.
Would they have to wear a mask?
We do have a declaration in place for masks, so yes.
Okay.
Yeah, people have contacted me a lot in regards to the hoops not being up and just feeling like, people really want to get out and play basketball, be COVID responsible. I think one thing that would be helpful, and I'm not sure, we might have to run this by Parks and Rec, but maybe put a place to use hand sanitizer at all of our parks, just like a hand sanitizer dispenser that we refill, to make sure that folks can keep their hands clean and stay safe while engaging in basketball.
Thank you.
So that would be something we would have to submit to Public Works, I guess, because Parks and Rec is not really a department. They are a commission. They would not have the wherewithal to do that. So that would probably be a Public
Mr.
Works
Houston.
thing.
Well, yes. Yep.
Mr. Houston's over at Public Works, so that could be a conversation with them.
Yeah.
And just as a note, the idea would be to, certainly this would be a decision that you all would make after our declaration. If you continue it, of course, there are restrictions on the number of size of the groups that can be out. But if you decide not to continue the declaration, then we would go to the state's guidelines for group gatherings.
Yeah.
Which is now what, 25 for public?
Mhm.
I don't know exactly
It
if it is 25, but yeah.
Well, and another thing I think we would also have to look at is the cost of the city being able to put the hand sanitizer in the machines in each of the parks, because that certainly isn't something that was in our original budget. So is there any way, Mr. Logan, you can check on the capacity for outside recreation and outside events? I know what it is right now that our declaration is in place, but if and when we lift the declaration, it's all right. I can look it up.
Well, I think that, one of the things that we're looking at, let me just start with the hand sanitizer. So there's pros and cons to the hand sanitizers. I've seen them in some parks and they've been vandalized. I see them in other parks. It's just a sign that says, use your hand sanitizer, wash your hands, things like that. I personally think that, if we put hand sanitizer in all our parks, they probably will not get used, or, maybe
Be vandalized. They'll be vandalized.
we run the risk of them being vandalized.
Yeah, I agree.
So the responsibility, just like, when we go outside right now, is on, the kids. And I think, for the most part, if we place the signs out there, let them know that, hey, you need to wash your hands after you play basketball. They have to be responsible as young adults now. The other reason why I wanted to bring this up is because we also have league sports that are beginning to start up. Now, what's unique about the league sports is that those particular teams that are playing now they are taking it upon themselves to get players tested before they even start their league play. Kind of same thing that, our professional sports athletes are doing. So I would like for us to consider if there is a league team and we have baseball, soccer, and rugby that plays a lot out here in the city. If they are taking the steps to make sure that their players have already been tested or they have tested negative, then I would also like to consider accepting special event applications for those team sports.
Can
As
we make that a part of the application process for those leagues? Because we do have like the soccer league every year. There's two of them. There's the Hispanic one, and there's also the African community. They have one. Could we require that in the application that their players be tested, or no?
Legally, I'm not sure. Anthony, would you like to chime in on that?
I think it'd be possible to make that a requirement of any permit that's issued, given the current circumstances with the pandemic.
Okay.
One side note on the leagues that are playing right now, Chestmont League has begun its basketball for both women and men, and they are required to wear masks during the game. They're actually playing with mask coverings, as is the Pac-10 from Northern Chester County. So, we could still have a mask mandate, whether they're on the court or not, based on what the local athletics are doing in the high school level.
Yeah.
So again, it's just, I just wanted to put it out there for you all to think about. We do have, I think, another 30 days while our declaration's still in place. So hopefully when we come back in about approximately 30 days, we can have some more discussion about it.
If we can get a handle on the cases continuing to increase every day.
I'm sorry?
I said, if we can just get a handle, I know with the vaccine being out there, but the vaccine is doesn't stop you from getting COVID. The cases are mounting every day. You know what I mean? They're steadily increasing. So we still have to protect ourselves. We still have to be careful. We still need to wear masks.
Right.
It's unfortunate, but it is what it is.
We're at what, eight something?
826.
Yeah.
Well, 819 and 7 deaths is where we are as of this morning.
And there's still the undisclosed amount, which is over 600.
Right. So
Oh no, that's up to 700 now, Carmen.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah, since the last council meeting, it's a 65 increase in positive tests and 1 additional death since 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. And see, when they get on the courts, we're not even talking just people who live in the city when they're playing ball. It's the surrounding communities and everybody. So, I think that if we do put it up and we do open it up and put the hoops up, we still have to just make sure, because we have to maintain whatever the guidelines are for the gathering. Because a lot of times if we open it up, next thing you know, there's 50, 60 people out there playing basketball. We just have to be careful with it.
Yeah, and if you could, Mr. Logan, look into the financial cost of having and maintaining hand sanitizers at the courts, just because, we do want people to stay safe and wash their hands, but none of our parks have like sinks to wash hands in, and we don't want people to have dirty hands from playing and then not be able to wash their hands until they get home and possibly touch their face on the way. Kids aren't as mindful as adults.
But I think with all outside events, most folks are responsible for providing their own hand sanitizer. I don't know that would really be an obligation of the city. And it's like Mr. Logan said, then you're jeopardizing vandalism, and so that would be an ongoing cost. I do think. I do agree with Mr. Logan on that. I do think that I don't think there's anything wrong with him getting a cost analysis, but
I don't think
I
it'd be
don't know
cost
that
effective.
it's going to be feasible for the city.
Because the machines would be vandalized. I mean, we see the work in our parks. I mean, remember when we first did all the renovation at the Ninth Avenue Park? I mean, in a matter of days, the park was totally vandalized and things broken up. And
Yeah,
I don't
it
think that that's a
was.
real good idea. And I think that we do have to have as long as we have the signage in place and people understand, because you'd be surprised. A lot of these kids, young people, old people carry hand sanitizer with them.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, a lot of them are. And I would just, I encourage you all that when you're out and about, maybe you're shopping, you go and buy some parks. I mean, just look at the kids that are out there, the young people need to play in. And I feel bad that, our youth, they're not in our community, playing basketball. I mean, Chief and I had talked about the number of kids we see them, just out and about. And, I would rather have them on a basketball court than getting into some trouble.
Right.
So,
And not
you know,
even just that, James. They're home doing so many hours in screen time that, it's very concerning that they're on their electronic devices, on social media, on the video game, the usage. I mean, they showed this one game, Roblox, has had 30 million more
wow,
members since this pandemic started. And
wow.
parents are very concerned about the amount of screen time. That I agree. I think that they do need to get outside, and get some fresh
Can
air.
can we bring this to a vote tonight, or do we have to wait until the next meeting to vote on the hoops on the park?
Bring what, huh?
Hoops at the park, parks and hoops.
Can't
I
vote on
think we
it
should let
tonight. We still have an emergency declaration in
declaration.
place.
So we have to let Mr. Logan put a planning in place for when it would, when it would happen and all of that.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Second item is the Jazz Festival. As you all know, each year, the city of Coatesville is proud to host a Unity Day celebration. After the celebration, which is follows the first Saturday after the 4th of July, we have a series of jazz festivals, Sounds of Music. And we did not have the opportunity last year, obviously, to have it. But again, this year, I would like to put it on the table for you all to consider. Instead of having it in July, have it in September. And it would be it would consist of 6 to 8 every other week jazz festivals throughout the city, starting with Abdella Park, moving to Ash Park, and then finishing up at Gateway Park. And the way this would work, and many of you have seen other cities do it, we would have reserved boxes for individuals to attend the jazz festival, and they would be in those designated areas, and we could limit it, to the number of people that can be out. And these are Friday events. They are about 2 hours or 2.5 hours, and these are not long events. But if you have attended our jazz series, you know that it's just great music. People are out sitting in their chairs. In this case, they're just going to have to wave to each other. But again, I would like to propose this for consideration for September.
Yes, I tell you, I missed it last year so much.
Yeah.
They were so much fun just being out there in the park. I really enjoyed them.
Each
I
one
think
we
it's something.
had got better. Each year it got better. And to not be able to do it last year, like really made you realize just how the community came out, how involved everybody was in it. Like people were asking about it. It's like, it's COVID. We can't do anything. So
I tell you,
I think it'll be wonderful.
women Justin for change with that strawberry shortcake and that fried chicken and fish. Listen,
The food.
We on strike. We old now.
Mr. Logan, what did I
That
say
lemonade.
earlier? What did I say last meeting?
that lemonade.
I say no more.
What you say, Mr. Folks?
Yeah, we
Wow.
look forward to
Uh,
doing it as well.
Yeah, we should have, by that time, maybe this will be, bigger crowds and
Yeah.
you're talking September. So, yeah, let's keep it on our radar, keep it on our books. And that's a real good thing. Bring back Mr. Showtime. And
Yeah.
that was really good. Yeah.
I think
That's
we
good for
should
the
plan
community.
it. And if we have to cancel, we have to cancel. I think we
Right,
should
right.
plan it.
Right. I agree.
Yeah. And you know,
Ask Tony about Mr. Showtime. He was jamming.
I think I did. Miss Graves is saying something.
Councilperson Graves,
Yeah.
you was gonna say something?
yeah, we also have a lot of like local hip hop artists too. And I'm
Mhm.
wondering if we can have part of the jazz festival dedicated to our local hip hop artists.
Yeah. That's what we did last time. It's called the Jazz Festival, but the genres changed. We had a hip hop, we had gospel, we had a little bit of everything.
Spoken word.
Rock and roll.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, we had spoken word. Yeah,
At the Latino music.
yeah. The genres just changed. It's just called the Jazz Festival, but we had all kinds.
Maybe we could
It's
just change it
actually
to
the
Sounds of
Sounds
Summer,
of
not
Summer
put the Jazz
music
Festival on it.
series.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that.
I said
The
maybe we could
Sounds of-
just
Go ahead,
have
Mrs. Hunt.
No, I'm saying maybe we could just have it as Sounds of Summer and drop the jazz part of it.
Right. Right.
And there is
I know
a committee that is part of this. It is the Unity Day committee, so there is an existing committee.
Mr. Vera was at every one, just about.
Yes. They
Him and
were
his wife.
really nice.
Yep, they're a lot of fun.
Yeah, you are.
All right,
Okay.
thank you.
So that's
Plan
that.
Set a meeting.
Somebody saying something?
I was saying set up some Zooms. Let's plan it.
Yeah, right. Okay, on to our regular action items, citizens hearing. Are there any?
Ruthann, do we have anyone for citizens hearings, or is there anyone online?
No.
Okay.
Nope.
So that we have to close.
I'll make a motion to close.
I'll
I'll
second.
second.
Thank you.
Full council, please.
Councilmember Folks,
Yes.
Councilmember Hunt,
Yes.
Councilmember Alameen,
Yes.
Councilmember Graves,
Yes.
Councilmember Green,
Yeah.
Councilmember Lavender Norris.
Yes.
Excuse me, I just got a text. A resident is asking if chat is on in YouTube. I don't know if they're trying to sign in to talk. They just said someone tried it and it didn't work.
Are they watching it live?
They are.
That's a YouTube situation, isn't it?
Yeah,
They-
you have access to chat on YouTube as well as Zoom.
Yeah.
I just posted welcome to the public meeting, and our councilperson Graves just posted testing and it came up.
It's
Do they have a
so
question?
this person is saying it says this action item is not available.
It's on their
That's
end.
on your computer or something.
Councilwoman Alameen.
Oh, I see a
What
lot
you
more coming
could-
in. Everyone is saying now it works.
Councilwoman Alameen, if the resident you were speaking of had something with regard to our regular action item, could you ask them to propose it during our next citizens hearings
I can.
on non-agenda? Because we already closed the,
Well, they just said it wasn't working, but it's working now. Well, I guess whatever Ruth Ann did fix it.
okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Now, being that if the question an action item, we wouldn't want to take it beforehand. I guess.
We could reopen, Mr. Verway?
You could, yes.
Oh, boy.
Is it a action item? Councilwoman
I don't know. I can text and ask them.
Please.
All right.
30 years of experience and thousands of products to choose from, we guarantee your order will be right the first time, on time, and for a great price. Be certain that the right.
I don't see any questions in there though.
Well, let's see. They
Looks
didn't.
like you're right, Carmen. Everybody does play Roblox. It looks like one of our chats
Yeah.
plays the Roblox.
It's a very popular game during this pandemic, I tell you.
They said non-agenda. Let me
Okay.
see. Non-agenda. I'm trying to see if they will try again.
Well,
Okay.
non-agendas at
So
the
if
end.
it's yeah, we could move on then. On to our actual regular action item. 7.1 is receive and consider a resolution appointing Stephen Dobson as the City of Coatesville's fire chief. Could I get a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Logan, would you like to expound regarding Mr. Dobson?
Sure. Steve Dobson has been part of the Coatesville fire family for, geez, I think close to 20 years now. So he's very familiar with the city, with the community. He worked under Fire Chief Alderman, and he came highly recommended over the last 2 years to move over to this part-time position as our fire chief. We had a number of applicants that submitted resumes. Steve's resume and his background, came to the top of our list, and we feel that he would be a tremendous asset moving forward with the plans that we have for our fire department in the city of Coatesville.
Very well. Are there any questions or comments from council? Whole council, please.
Councilmember Green,
Yes.
Councilmember Graves,
Yes.
Councilmember Alameen,
Yes.
Councilmember Hunt,
Yes.
Councilmember Foltz,
Yes.
Councilmember Lavender Norris.
Yes.
Oh.
6-0 carries.
7.2, receive and consider promotions within the police department. Could I get a motion?
Make that motion.
Is there a second? I'll second. Chief, could you expound a little bit on this, please, sir?
Yes, Madam President, I would love to. This January marked my 8th anniversary here with the city of Coatesville, taking it over as chief in January of 2013. And I'm just as excited today to come to work as I was 8 years ago. And when you listen to the things that are going on in this community, when you look at the presentation by Sue Springsteen talking about the KIZ and the things that are happening, out in 190 West, it's just, it's exciting to be a part of the Coatesville community and to provide the police services and level of quality of police services that we strive to provide every day for the city. I've been blessed, and certainly the city has for the last 8 years, to have some continuity in our non-commissioned officer positions, in our lieutenant position here in the police department. Now, last meeting, we talked about the retirement of Sergeant Smith. So he is officially retired now. And, that kind of brings it up that we're starting to see some of these seasoned officers that have been in these leadership positions in the police department for the last 8 years. They're reaching their 20th year, and there's going to be some change in the department. So currently on the agenda here tonight, we have promotions and recommendation for one hire, part-time to full-time. And I will go ahead and go through those promotions, if you will. With the retirement of Sergeant Smith, that opens up a position for the rank of sergeant. In the beginning of 2020, we had a civil service compliant promotional exam, both written and oral, that established a standing list. So currently, for position of sergeant, we have, going by the rule of three, we have 3 eligible candidates to fill that position that was vacated by the retirement of Sergeant Smith. And that would be number 1, Corporal Brendan Boyle, number 2, Corporal Jeffrey Ingemy, and number 3, Corporal Paul Antonucci. And it would be my recommendation, going on the highest score of Corporal Brendan Boyle, would be recommending him for council to consider for promotion to sergeant and replacing Sergeant Smith. Then that in turn creates a corporal position. We currently have 2 corporal vacancies. The one was generated back in November with the retirement of Corporal Michaels. We replaced Corporal Michaels' officer position with a promotion from part-time to full-time of Officer Kemmerly, but we never backfilled the corporal supervisory position. So we have 2 current corporal vacancies within the department. We have a standing list with 2 eligible candidates on it. And those eligible candidates for promotion from officer to corporal are Officer Jared Davis and Officer Christopher McCarthy. And I would be recommending that we promote both of those officers to council from officer to corporal to fill those vacancies. Then that creates 1 additional vacancy as an officer. And I would recommend that we promote from part-time to full-time our officer Felicia Delegati, who was unanimously selected based upon a poll of our supervisors, corporal sergeants and lieutenant, as a recommendation from our part-time officer pool as to who the best candidate would be to fill that full-time vacancy. And that was Felicia Delegati. So they would be the promotions that I would recommend here tonight. And I will leave it at that and take any questions the council might have.
A question, Chief.
Yes.
So there are multiple officers in line for promotion that there's just like large community concern about. I think that whether or not the complaints make it to your office, I for sure hear some of the complaints, especially like, on the street. And I just have concern with the officers being promoted and our community not even trust them to be officers in our department. And now they're eligible for promotion. And so that's given me a lot of concern.
I can only make a recommendation, based upon the constraints of the civil service process. And currently, we have no officers that are not eligible for promotion based upon disciplinary record.
Any other questions, comments?
Yes, I do. Chief, has all of these officers taken the additional training for de-escalation and all of that?
Yes, we had online training that was per capita for everybody in the department for all ranks. That was completed by these officers. We also had the supervisory level training that was conducted over at the training center. Even though several of these officers weren't promoted yet, we anticipated these vacancies and have our succession planning in place in anticipation of these vacancies. And as an officer, they were put through that training with the anticipation that they would be promoted to corporal sometime in the near future. So we have everybody that is being promoted has undergone 2 levels of training in implicit bias and bias policing.
And are these promotions voted on officer by officer, or are they all done jointly?
I believe, and Mr. Verway could correct me, I believe they're done separately because, we have the sort of the civil service rule of 3, at least for the promotions, not for the part-time to full-time hire, but I would say they would be voted on separately.
Yes, that's correct. Separate votes.
Now, my question is, Chief, are you satisfied with the positions and the concerns? I know, and it's unfortunate if there are community concerns and no one is filling out or filing a complaint. It's just hard to hold someone accountable to something that is not happening. From your perspective, and I'm quite sure that you're aware of the concerns, are you satisfied that these officers, with the training that they received and with their conduct thus far, are prepared to be and to uphold the laws of the state and to abide by whatever police reform or whatever is going to take place, that they're prepared to do that and to be stand-up officers? Because, Nadia made a statement that the problem is no one is, people don't file complaints. So there is no record of complaint, like you said.
Yes. However, there is video record, right? Because Officer Davis was in a viral video recently in September.
To answer your question, Councilperson Green, I do have confidence that these selections will serve the city well. Believe me, we understand, and they understand, and with the promotion comes, great responsibility. And we expect a lot of our corporals and sergeants. They are and will be held to task for, the decisions that they make in a supervisory role. And they will be constantly evaluated for, their overall fitness for being a police officer with the city of Coatesville and their fitness in a supervisory position. As I said, I'm sorry.
Normally, wouldn't they be, if we were doing this in an in-person meeting, would they not be present?
Well, what we've done in the past is we've gone ahead and taken the vote. And then the next council meeting is when we bring them in and actually swear them in, with one of our judges to have them take the oath of office for their promotion.
Okay. Yeah, I would invite them to be here tonight. Just, maybe if they heard the concerns and maybe they would, understand. But thank you so much, Chief.
Are there any other questions or comments?
Yeah, Chief, you hit on all the sergeants, corporals, but you didn't say anything about lieutenants.
Well, currently that vacancy hasn't come up yet. Lieutenant Audette has not announced. He has discussed plans to potentially retire in the near future, but he does not have a date. So that will be sometime in the near future, most likely, in which case I will be back before council, and we'll have the same discussion, as we look to replace our lieutenant. And then that obviously is just as you saw tonight with the retirement of the sergeant, that creates the vacancies that are sort of happen beneath that as we promote a sergeant to lieutenant, and then a corporal to sergeant, and an officer to corporal once again.
Okay.
And as I indicated, we truly have been fortunate in the last 8 years to have the continuity that we have had all the way from the lieutenant down to the corporal positions. And it has served the city well, I believe. But, as guys approach their 20 years, things begin to change in the department. And, I'm excited to be here and to remain here and to continue to lead that change and, continue to keep the department headed in the right direction as we serve the city.
In some instances, it seems like you trained them too well. People are kind of plucking them off from us.
Yes, that can happen, unfortunately.
Okay. Poll council, please.
Well, which one? Where
Yeah,
we
I
at?
Madam
thought we
President?
were doing them one at a time.
Yes.
I am so sorry.
Madam President, it may be easiest to have the chief announce the name of the individual and the rank to which they are proposed to be promoted, followed by someone making a motion to accept that promotion, a second, and a vote.
Administration of what by all truthful account
Very well.
a fair and free election.
Chief?
There's, as I mentioned, it's gonna be-
Okay. We'll start with the vacancy created by the retirement of Sergeant Smith. So a promotion from corporal to sergeant to fill that vacancy. We have 3 names, which we had mentioned earlier, in order as to how they ranked, would be Corporal Brendan Boyle, Corporal Jeffrey Injemy, and Corporal Paul Antonucci.
I make a motion. Do we get to pick one of them?
Brendan Boyle.
Yeah, I would recommend in this particular case, scoring the highest was Corporal Brendan Boyle.
Antonucci is a good guy too.
They're all
We-
good.
He picked me.
We'll get to him. Okay, Carmen made the motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Are there any other questions, comments regarding this gentleman? Poll council, please.
Councilmember Hunt,
Yes.
Councilmember Foltz,
Yes.
Councilmember Alameen,
Yes.
Councilmember Graves,
No.
Councilmember Green,
Yes.
Councilmember Lebanon Norris.
Yes. Congratulations, Mr. Boyle, Officer Boyle, no, Sergeant Boyle.
Sergeant.
Sergeant Boyle. And I would just mention that Corporal Boyle, now Sergeant Boyle, has been with the department in the last 2 years in anticipation, succession planning, in anticipation of this vacancy, has stepped up to the plate and has been trained by Sergeant Smith so that we have as seamless of a transition as it can be. Sergeant Smith will be hard to replace. He'll have some big shoes to fill, but I'm confident that he has been well trained and that the newly promoted Sergeant Boyle will be able to carry on for a lot of the duties that Sergeant Smith we took for granted that he was able to do for us and for the city as well. So we're excited about the new sergeant.
Sergeant Boyle.
I don't know him, Chief. Is he a community guy? Is he active in our community? Does he do? I'm just not aware of him at all. I'm sorry.
That's no problem. You know, he has been the last 2 years, he has been sort of working in-house, learning everything that Sergeant Smith has done, while also being a patrol corporal.
Okay.
He is, you know, he is low key. He's working on his master's degree in criminal justice, and he's well qualified to take over as the sergeant.
Did he take the IT class?
I'm sorry, which class? IT?
Yeah.
Well, we call him Smitty Light.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Okay. Okay. We're covered.
Okay. So
Okay,
then the next promotion would be to the rank of corporal, and that would be to replace supervisory positions that were vacated when Corporal Michaels left us for his lieutenant position with West Brandywine. And then the trickle down created by promoting Corporal Boyle to sergeant. So they would be the two corporal positions that we would look to fill next. And on our civil service eligibility list, we only have 2 names that are eligible on that list. And they are in order of their scores on the test would be Officer Jared Davis and Officer Christopher McCarthy.
But we're going to do one at a time, right?
So they was
Well,
gonna do the
there's
one he
two.
picked. I thought he was gonna do the one he picked.
There's 2 of them.
It's two he picked for that.
Yeah, that will, the 2 positions, and that would exhaust our civil service list. We only have 2 eligible for promotion off of our list right now. So that will exhaust that list. So we would
So
be
which
promoting.
one are we going to vote on first?
Jared Davis.
Okay.
If you go in the order of rank order of how they finished, Officer Davis finished the highest, and then it would be McCarthy.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Any questions or comments? Full council regarding Jared Davis.
Councilmember Green,
Yes.
Councilmember Graves,
No.
Councilmember Alameen,
No.
Councilmember Hunt,
Yes.
Councilmember Foltz,
Yes.
Councilmember Lavender Norris.
Yes.
4-2 carries.
Can I get a motion for McCarthy?
I make that motion.
Second.
And what's Officer McCarthy's first name, Chief?
Christopher?
Okay. Do we have any questions or comments regarding Officer McCarthy? Please poll council regarding Officer Christopher McCarthy.
Councilmember Foltz,
Yes.
Councilmember Hunt,
Yes.
Councilmember Alameen,
Yes.
Councilmember Graves,
No.
Councilmember Green,
Yes.
Councilmember Lebanon Norris,
Yes.
5-1, carries.
Our
And we have
last,
one more.
yes, our last matter to be considered for promotion would be part-time officer Felicia Delegati to be promoted from part-time officer. She's been with the department since November of 19, has served us very well and was the unanimous pick by her supervisors as a recommendation to fill this position. So we would nominate Officer Felicia Delegati to be promoted from part-time to full-time.
Can I get a motion?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Chief, I have a question about Felicia. Is Felicia the only woman in our department?
We have 2 new female officers that just started. One is in training and the other is just completing her final stages with the psychological and physical. So we will have 3 here, 2 in training and then 1 that has been with us, Delgatti, since November. So they would be with our 3 full-time female full-time officers.
And is Officer Delgatti the officer that was involved in the arrest that happened over the weekend that was on videotape and went viral?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. I just have some concerns. Also, Muslim woman was arrested, and for like the duration of her arrest, her hijab was on the ground, which was extremely concerning to me as a person who wears hijab. I can't imagine my hijab being anywhere but my head. And so that was extremely concerning in the way that was handled. Because if my hijab had fallen off during an arrest, I would want it to immediately be placed back onto my head to make sure I'm fulfilling my religious duty.
I mean, if you want to, but I think that's fine. Mm-hmm.
Any other questions or comments?
Mm-mm.
No.
Whole council, please. Regarding Felicia Delgatti.
Councilmember Foltz,
Yes.
Councilmember Hunt,
Yes.
Councilmember Alameen,
No.
Councilmember Graves,
No.
Councilmember Green,
Yes.
Councilmember Lebanon Norris,
Yes.
4-2, carries.
If I could just take a quick minute and thank council for their continued support of the police department and of me as chief. I can't, I can't tell you what it means to me to have the support of council, and believe me, I work hard every day to make sure the officers uphold their oath and that they're held accountable for the decisions that they make out on the street. We're all not perfect. We all make mistakes. There's a difference between mistakes of the heart and mistakes of the head. And we strive to hold our officers accountable and make sure that they're making the best decision that they can for the community and for the city. And we will continue to strive to hold them to that standard with our newly promoted corporals and sergeant and with our newly promoted officers. So I thank council once again.
You're welcome, Chief, and thank you.
For your continued commitment and dedication to the city. And our department is a marked difference since you've been here. So thank you.
Thank you, Madam President.
Okay, 7.3, receive and consider a resolution designating the emergency response service providers of the city of Coatesville. Could I get a motion for that?
I'll make that
I'll make
motion.
that.
A second.
Mr. Logan? To
Councilmember
expound
Green?
on- No, wait. We need you to expound a little bit.
Oh, I'm sorry. This is the City of Coatesville, Chester County designation emergency response service providers for the City of Coatesville. Normally, our fire chief, he is the one that's designated to basically provide emergency service plans for the City of Coatesville. Now that we have recently appointed Chief Steve Dobson to the position, he will be listed as our Department of Emergency Service coordinator and lead person.
Thank you. Any questions or comments from council? Whole council, please.
Councilmember Green,
Yes.
Councilmember Graves,
Yes.
Councilmember Alameen,
Yes.
Councilmember Hunt,
Yes.
Councilmember Folks,
Yes.
Councilmember Lavender Norris.
Yes.
6-0 carries.
7.4, a RACP acceptance letter. Mr. Logan, could you expound a little bit for the public knowledge?
Sure. Recently, you all were informed that the City of Coatesville received a RACP grant in the amount of $1 million that will be used for the construction of our train station garage project. There were many people involved in this particular initiative. We have State Representative Williams that was involved. We had our county commissioners that were involved, Senator Comito that's been involved, a number of stakeholders and partners, as well as council members, have been advocating for the development of this train station. So we recently received a letter. This is just a formality for our council members to accept it as a point of record. And again, congratulations to you all and to the City of Coatesville.
Yes.
Very good.
Long time coming, I tell you.
Yes, yes. Thank you.
Yeah.
So I don't have a motion on the floor.
I'll make that motion.
And I'll
I'll
second it.
second.
I'm sorry.
Questions or comments? Whole council, please.
Councilmember Folks,
Yes.
Councilmember Hunt,
Yes.
Councilmember Alameen,
Yes.
Councilmember Graves,
Yes.
Councilmember Green,
Yes.
Councilmember Lavender Norris.
Yes.
6-0 carries. Thank you.
Can I get a motion to close the action item?
I'll make
So
that
moved.
motion.
I'll second.
Whole council, please.
Councilmember Green,
Yes.
Councilmember Graves,
Yes.
Councilmember Alameen,
Yes.
Councilmember Hunt,
Yes.
Councilmember Folks,
Yes.
Councilmember Lavender Norris.
Yes.
6-0 carries. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Verway, our solicitors report, please, sir.
Madam President, I have a very short report this week. We discussed some matters in our executive session that were subject to attorney-client privilege. But since our last meeting, I've worked on matters related to the appointment of the city's new fire chief, Worked on issues relating to holding a hearing on an economic development liquor license, which will be held in February. And I have provided general legal guidance and counsel to city administration over the past 2 weeks. Unless there are any questions, Madam President, that is my report.
Thank you, sir. Are there any questions for Mr. Bearway? Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Mr. Logan, you're up, sir.
Thank you, and good evening, everyone. I have a brief report this evening, more of just an update, and then we will have our first report from our Assistant City Manager. But to start it off, I just want to give you all an update on the 3082 realignment. That's at the intersection of First and Lincoln Highway. The construction is scheduled to resume in the spring or first opportunity of good weather. And the completion date is scheduled for September 2021. So we're looking forward to having that realignment completed. That will complement the box beam work that's currently being done on 82. And we're just looking forward to kind of a new road into the city of Coatesville. Construction bids for the new train station, as I just mentioned, in terms of the Rat Creek grant, that's going toward our train station garage. But the bids for the train station itself are projected to go out next month, and the construction is set to begin this year. We're looking at 2 to 3 years for completion, probably more 3 years. But I just want to thank the City Council, PennDOT, Amtrak, and the Coatesville construction team for all the work that they've been doing over the many years to maintain the momentum to complete this project. Plans also for our 480 car garage, as I mentioned, that's where the RACP money is going to help with the capital stack. Right now it is targeted at 480 cars. We are looking at all of the possibilities of updating that because of COVID. A lot of industries are kind of reorganizing in terms of how their employees are going to be working either from home or in the office. That, of course, is going to impact commuter and ridership. So we're going to be really looking at the garage study to make sure that we have enough spaces in the garage moving forward. But my hat's off to the Coatesville Redevelopment Authority for all the hard work they've been putting in. Sonny Hunsinger also has been putting countless hours in locating companies to do a parking study for us, as well as a management study.
Right.
So we're very, very excited that we have the right team in place to move this project forward. On another front, on 3rd Avenue, many of you are familiar with the Coatesville Historic Train Station, the one that we still have, and it is still operational. Recently, a bid went out for the train station exterior. Many of you know that that train station's been there for years. The city of Coatesville is responsible for the landscaping and some of the repair work. So what we were awarded a grant by the county to do some exterior work on it to complement as well some of the work that was done by HBO when they came out to film the movie Mayor of Easton. So we're just going to kind of finish up the work that's required to restore the building as much as we can to give it a nice pristine look. And all bids were submitted. Let's see, by the end of this month at 11 a.m. Is going to be the deadline for submissions. So we're very excited about that. Just kind of segueing into the Mayor of Easttown, the HBO short series that was filmed here. We did receive a letter, and Council President, I don't know, did you get a copy of that letter in your packet?
I did.
Okay, would you like to read the letter, or would you like to?
You can.
Okay. All right, so the letter reads, hello. We can now happily say we have completed filming. It's been a long road with more twists than that we've expected, but we made it with your help. On behalf of the cast and crew of Mayor of Easton, We would like to take this opportunity to thank you again for letting us film in your municipality. Our show could not be as beautiful and interesting as it is without the use of real neighborhoods like yours, right here in Pennsylvania, that help bring our show and characters to life. We truly appreciate it. Be on the lookout in April for The Mayor of Easttown on HBO or the HBO Max application. Though this show is a limited series and won't be continuing for seasons, and won't have continuing for seasons, with any luck, we will return to your area again soon before the PA Film Festival. Best wishes to you from all of us in the Mayor of Easton Location Department. We look forward to crossing paths again soon. Thank you from Brian O'Neill, Supervising Location Manager, Josh Clark, Key Assistant Location Manager, and Caitlin McCarthy, Location Coordinator. That's from the HBO crew.
All right.
That's awesome. That's great.
Isn't that wonderful?
Hopefully they'll be back, in the coming years. As far as a community update, we are working with TMAC, our county commissioners, Urban Outfitters, to move forward with a wonderful job initiative. I think Chip is going to share a few comments on that, but we're very excited that we have this opportunity to work with Urban Outfitters. A big thanks goes out to Minnie McNeil and the East End Community Partners and the many other volunteers in making this year's MLK Day of Service on January 18th a huge success. Many volunteers in this community they outdid themselves. They participated in Zoom roundtable discussions for both our youth and adults. There were care baskets that were delivered throughout the community, and just random acts of kindness. So thank you, Mrs. McNeil, if you're listening. You are a truly, truly wonderful treasure in this community. And we thank you for all of the hard work you put in, and all of the volunteers and churches that also came together to put together such a wonderful MLK Day of Service. The last item I have is, and I think Chip is also going to comment on this, Coatesville has a new testing site. It is the Brandywine Valley Active Aging. Most of you know that as the Senior Center, right on the corner here. This is their Coatesville campus. They are taking testing reservations, I should say, by appointment only. And those testing or those tests can be done between the hours of 9:30 and 2:30. Once again, you do have to register, and you can go on to chesco.org to schedule a time for your testing. The days that they have available right now are Tuesdays and Wednesdays. Well, actually, that may have changed. I'm sorry. Yeah, I think you have to go to the chesco.org to find out the scheduled days. I think I'm looking at an old day here. And that concludes my report for this evening.
Mr. Houston. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Logan. Thank you, City Council, for allowing me to be a little short report here for you. To expound on what Mr. Logan said about Urban Outfitters, and I'm kind of taking his word, he did a lot of work on this leading up to this announcement, is that beginning in the first week of February, you'll see an announcement coming out about a job fair that will link the city of Coatesville to Urban Outfitters. In discussions we've had with them, they're looking for over 200 jobs to be filled. They just cannot fill enough positions in their fulfillment center in Gap, if you know where that is, just on the other side of the valley. The shifts will be two shifts, morning shift and evening shift. It is anything from pulling and shipping to customers, but also to unloading tractor trailers and then reloading their distribution facility. That facility is very large. And if you've been out that way, you can see it's quite some square footage and operations inside. So they are looking for a number of jobs, and they're focusing on Coatesville as one of the places to go. The partnership with this is Urban Outfitters, obviously, is the hiring agent. The OIC, CareerLink, MCDC, Coastal School District, and James mentioned the TMAC. TMAC is announcing, I'm going to post this right now through the messages. That is the link to the TMAC, what they are calling the Outfitter. And that will be a bus line specifically for the people who get hired through Urban Outfitters. That will start on the east end of the city, will come through town at designated locations and take people all the way to Gap in time for their shift, 10 to 15 minutes before their shift starts. At the end of their shift, there'll be 10 to 15 minutes at the end of the shift. They can get on the bus and come back to Coatesville. So if they don't have transportation availability to get as far as Gap, TMAC will be working with Urban Outfitters to fill the roles that they need to get this distribution center employed to the level they really believe it is, that's needed anyway. So the funding for this is coming from the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania and Urban Outfitters, and it'll be run by TMAC. So, you know, everybody who knows the Transportation Management Association of Chester County, it will be a very specific bus run. There will be the availability for people to take the bus to Gap, but if you're not an employee of Urban Outfitters is making this free to employees. If you're not, you can still pay probably a few dollars to get the Gap, but you better time yourself getting home. So this is going to be an interesting opportunity for an open house job fair to be announced. It's going to be the 6th or 7th. Mr. Logan is working on the location now, and we'll have that announcement as soon as it comes out. So that's one thing, and there's the link to Urban Outfitters. Another announcement for you, and Mr. Logan kind of mentioned it, the 82 box beam project has been partially completed. If you drive 82 to get to the bypass or back into town, you will note that all of the concrete from the center berm has been removed, as well as the guardrail. So the only thing between us and the guardrail, what used to be the guardrail now, is cones. And it is single lane in and out of the city and will remain that way until the work is completed. I noticed today coming in that PennDOT has removed its construction vehicles. I don't know when they're going to pick up on the finishing of the box beam, but I'll try and get some information for you next time. So just be aware that the box beams are gone, and then it is only cones keeping you from the center aisle. Moving on to something else I want to get you, and James mentioned it, is I'm going to copy this here and present it to you. We also have okay, get this link in. Old guy with technology, bear with me. The vaccine is now available in Chester County, as Mr. Logan mentioned. The former senior center, now Brandywine facility right here next to us, will be one of those sites in the county. The county has announced that so far 16,000 doses have been given in the county. Currently, we are listed in phase 1A, and that is the medical staff, funeral staff, EMS providers, coroner, medical examiner, long-term care residents, those persons aged 65 and older, and those 16 to 64 with high-risk conditions, cancer, diabetes, other things. And that link I gave you for the COVID-19 vaccine will give you a little bit more detail into what the phases are. So we're in phase 1A. Phase 1B will step down to the next level of folks, and that will be the police. And then phase 1-3 will drop into more of the municipal workers and that type of thing. In that link is, as Mr. Logan mentioned, the reservation system that you can go into and check the available dates and times to get yourself signed up. The county is doing the Moderna vaccine, not the Pfizer, but they are doing Moderna. Okay, so that's the link if you want to go take a look at that. You're welcome. COVID update I mentioned earlier. 820 cases confirmed in Coatesville, up 1 death from 6 2 weeks ago to 7 today. So that's 65 more positive tests. It has slowed down a little bit, and that's good news as we continue to wear our masks and do the things we need to do to keep it from spreading. The last thing I have for you is 2 weeks ago, we talked about Palmer Park. Phase 2 and phase 3 will begin this spring. What we also have for you is the master planning on Ash Park is underway, and the next meeting is actually this Thursday at 1:30 in the afternoon for the task team. The review should be this spring. I want to let you know that if you happen to be coming through town, probably in the same early February timetable, the Natural Lands Trust is paying to have a couple of core samples done within the park confines, because there is a water problem in what I I call it the bowl. It's kind of, you got the high side on both sides and the water gathers in the middle. And then there is a thought that there's an underground stream that runs underneath. They want to find out where the water table is. So any future planning on the master plan, they want to know if there might have to be any remediation or water removal baffle systems under the ground as they go forward on planning for it. So if you see some drilling going on in the park, don't worry, it's only going to be for a couple of days, and we'll have our guys out there monitoring the work that's going on. So that is my short report. Oh, just one more, weather watch. Public Works got out this afternoon and did some pre-salting on some of the tough areas on the hill. We're not expecting much, but there is a chance of icing overnight. So there's my brain. Jules and I went over the plan for the evening, Mr. Scott, and he had some pre-salting done this afternoon, and the guys will be ready to go in the morning if they need to come and do some more salting. But it's not a plowable event, but it could be a salting event. So I want to let you know that we're ready for that in the morning if needs be. And that's my report. So thank you all very much. Any questions?
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Any questions for Mr. Houston?
Oh, I have a question, Mr. Houston. Does Urban hire people with felonies?
They have indicated there are background checks to be done, and that will be on a case-by-case basis on what exactly the offense is. They have not ruled out the possibility, but they will have a background check for anybody applying.
Okay. And do they drug test?
Yes, they will.
Okay. Those were two questions I had. And then the other question that I had was, when does the vaccination site in Coatesville open?
That I don't know. In fact, Mr. Logan, that was a surprise. I hadn't heard that until he made that announcement. I can find out some more information and get it out to you as soon as I can.
Okay. Thank you so much, Mr. Houston.
You're welcome.
Yeah, we're coordinating right now, Councilperson Graves. We're coordinating the location sites. Hopefully we can have multiple sites with the county health department. So we're trying to identify, where would be the best locations, because we want to have access for our seniors as well as our young people. So as you all know, we just don't have a lot of large meeting areas in the city. So we're really, looking to be creative in some of our vaccination sites.
Brandywine Wellness, they offered their site, right?
They did, but the county has requested that we look for something in the neighborhood of 5,000 square feet.
Okay.
Back to school.
I'm gonna open that hotel.
Yeah.
Okay, is Mr. Troutman on the line?
Yes, I am. Madam President and Council, my report includes a couple of summary statements and then a few comments about the 2 pages included in your package. So I'll start with the first comment being 2020 ended without needing to draw down any reserves from our trust fund. So extremely positive, largely because of the settlement negotiated by council for the $250,000. So that was positive ending to the year. We are starting in a similarly good fashion in that we have not had to borrow a TAN, a tax anticipation note. So this will be the second year in a row we've not had to borrow and pay those fees that would be associated with it. So 2 positives to end and begin the year. The independent audit started and we are making very good progress on that front. We are, for 2021, we're off to a good start in another way in that 3 major favorable items totaling $258,000 have come to us. So we are starting out ahead of budget to a sizable amount. And I'll use a technical term. We're going to be stockpiling these savings to keep accumulating them. favorables as we move through the year. The 2021 real estate and solid waste bills are expected to be mailed next week to owners. The reminder that the 2% discount period will be through the end of March. I would also like to make the point that we have turned over the 2020 delinquent real estate taxes, the unpaids, to the county, so they have them now, and they are going to become subject to liens and interest if as not paid current. We're also received the 2020 solid waste that was unpaid. We will do as we did last year. We will have a short period of time where we will accept payments at the City Hall window or by mail, so that owners who did not take advantage of paying in 2020 can avoid having extra legal costs and collection costs added to the bills. It'll save approximately $45 to anyone if they're able to pay within February, rather than have it carry forward, and then we'll turn it over to our collection agency in March, where additional fees, etc., are unfortunately going to be added. Also, just a general statement that we are experiencing complications with the U.S. mail delays, and I point that out now because we are seeing where checks that we have issued are not necessarily being cashed timely. So any of the bills you might see in your package for the next couple of months foreseeably will have a lot of work being done to make sure that we haven't double paid, make sure that they've already been paid. And then we're also having it on the opposite side. Inbound invoices are coming in after they're due, so we're having to work through those issues. So just we're cognizant of the issue. We're just working through it, and just alerting you that you might see some extra notes on invoices as you're approving them or working through them. So those are the general comments I'm making, and now I'll refer to the 2 pages that I've included in your package regarding a summary of some of the revenue items that are significant for the city. The intent for these 2 pages is to demonstrate that the city is serious about following its ordinances, holding all owners accountable to the same standards, and continuing as one way to chip away at our financial stability and sustainability. We also want to provide data to you as council and to administration so that you have information to manage with, and is also in keeping with comments that you've made in the past that we frankly now are starting to be able to get our arms around, to start identifying where the holes have been in our financial approach or our ability to collect all our fees. We now have more information to be able to collect more of what's due, and obviously we're pursuing these. So the other objective is that we're trying to collect past due funds, and equally important, correct data so that we can de-escalate the frustration levels that have occurred over the past couple of years with information that owners and residents have been frustrated with frankly a bad database. It's been able to be collecting information. It's just extremely unviable and unworkable to get quality information out. So that's the overview. Now, on the 2 pages that are included, I'm not going to go line by line. I just want to point out a few things throughout it, And then anybody who has any questions can feel free to give me a call or shoot me an email and we can discuss it in more detail. So for those of you that do have your pages in front of you, I will refer to our collection rates for real estate and solid waste. Those are lines 9 through 12. What you're going to see is the city tends to have a low collection rate for its discount and face period, which forces us to have a higher collection for our penalty and delinquents. And unfortunately, they're not getting, they've accumulated over time. So that points down to the middle section, the bottom section of page 1, where I'm talking about the real estate and solid waste delinquents. You're going to see on line 36 that we have $1.6 million in delinquents as of January 1, 2021. This is about the same as last year. The good news is it's less than last year. So there is progress being made on reducing it. But I think we all would agree that 1.6 million is still extremely high. The top of the second page, the rows beginning in the 42s through the end of the 40s, the point here that I'm calling attention to is historically the city has done the best it could with what it had. But now with better information, there's the ability to identify that the amounts of collections that are more appropriate to target are substantially higher than what we've thought was the right numbers, or people have surmised they're higher, but we're now having better information to know that there's just more being required, more, and it's not just the money side. In fact, there's a better argument that it's the resident side, the tenant side, that there's more inspections that should be done for the quality of life. So I point those out to you that are really the 2021 numbers that we're projecting to do versus what we think are likely targets. And then the last section I would comment on are the unpaid rental licenses, the project we're going through right now. We have about a quarter of the 538 invoices that were sent out are resolved. And of the remaining 3 quarters, the vast majority of those, we just had bad data for addresses to mail invoices to. And we have a number of them who haven't responded yet over approximately the 30 days that the bills have been mailed and in circulation. And so we still have work to do on this front. With that, I'll answer any immediate questions and we'll turn it back to you, Madam President.
Rich, I do have one question regarding Portnoy. The
Sure.
bills last year, are you still sending out the letter advising people that the bill has still been unpaid, and if it's not paid, giving them the time, so that or the warning that once it goes to Portnoy that the fees will be very, very high, and you're giving them the
Yeah.
opportunity. So we are still mailing out the letter.
First of all, thank you. It's in my notes to comment on that, but I skipped over that comment. So I'm glad you brought it up. Yes, we are targeting to mail the letter at the end of this week. And speaking to the items that you just commented on.
So in that, when approximately will we send the bills to Portnoy, in March or the end of February? Like, how much time do we give them to still respond?
Right now, we're targeting a month, that they will have essentially a month to to come into the window or remit. There's approximately 350 off the top of my head that are delinquent, 364 to be exact, that are delinquent, and there's a fair number of those that are only the $25 variety, and we've determined that those aren't going to go to Portnoy. We're going to keep those with the city to pursue.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Well, thank you.
Any other questions for Mr. Troutman? Thank you, sir.
You're quite welcome.
Okay, on to citizens' hearings. Non-agenda items only.
I know there was one question on YouTube from Daniel Grayberg about when the next city update would be, or community meeting would be, rather.
That's in the works. There's no specific date yet, but it is being arranged. We're on to our citizens' hearings, not agenda items. Ruth Ann, might I ask if you have any comments, and if so, please, no violent, should I say, profanity and things of that nature comments. But please, if we have any, pass them along to us.
Do you want me to read all the comments on YouTube or pass them on through like we usually do for the next meeting?
Good question.
If there's any that are questions, you could read those for us. But if they're just general comments, then we can get them in our packet.
Yeah,
Some of them were answered. There were questions on whether Officer Davis was next in line, if there were other options. What has changed since the summer over the events that happened?
Now, are these, okay, are you giving the comments, like, are they giving their name and address and all that kind of stuff?
It's their names. But there's a lot of like going back and forth with each other on there.
Yeah, so you can, I guess you can record them for a
Just go
packet, but
into
are there
the
any questions?
packet.
Okay.
The only question I seen was Daniel Grayberg.
Okay.
Okay.
If there are no other questions, then I think we can
Yeah, I don't see any other questions. I'm just trying to.
yeah. Okay. So I guess we could go ahead and close citizens' hearing. Can I get a motion to close?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Full council, please, Mr. Logan.
Councilmember Green,
Yes.
Councilmember Graves,
Yes.
Councilmember Alameen,
Yes.
Councilmember Hunt,
Yes.
Councilmember Foltz,
Yes.
Councilmember Lavender Norris.
Yes.
6-0 carries.
Okay, so there are no special events. On to council comment. Mr. Folks?
Yeah, just want to thank everybody for coming out tonight, and hats off to you again, Sue, for just being who you are, and to our a new assistant city manager, Mr. Houston. I know when you first started, there was a ribbon cutting, and for Miss Turner over at the soap factory, and you were there. And when I walked in the door, I said, he's going to be all right, because in the past, people we had in these positions, you never saw both of them together. But that was really, really good to see both of you at that ribbon cutting for Miss Turner. It made the city look real good. To Mr. Troutman, when you come on and tell the citizens no new taxes, and that we're stockpiling money, as you say, that's a good feeling. So our citizens should be real happy the job that we are doing for the city. And to the chief police, chief, when investors look at this city, they look at the crime. And for you to be on top of that, you make this city look good. So we're on the right path. I mean, we heard some good stuff tonight. As a resident, I'm ecstatic. Thank you for coming out. See you later.
Thank you, Mr. Folks. Councilperson Graves?
Yes. Hello, everyone. Thank you for watching our meeting and rewatching it on YouTube. Thank you, Ms. Springsteen, for your presentation and all the work that you have been doing here in Coatesville. Since our last meeting, the holiday and the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King's birthday passed, and he is an ancestor who has been heavy on my heart lately. And I got to sit on a panel at the Friends Association and talk about the history of advocacy and housing. And I would just like to take some time to honor my ancestors' legacy by just reading a quote from his letter from the Birmingham jail. First, I must confess, over the last few years, I have been gravely disappointed with the moderate. I've almost reached the regrettable conclusion that the community's great stumbling block and stride towards freedom is not the white citizens counselor nor the Ku Klux Klan, but the moderate who is more devoted to order than to justice, who prefers negative peace, which is the absence of tension, to positive peace, which is the presence of justice, who consistently says, I agree with you in the goal you seek, but I can't agree with you. Realistically, feels that they can set the person's measure for freedom. Those who live by the myth of time and consistently advises the community to wait until a more convenient season. Shallow understanding from people with goodwill is more frustrating than absolute misunderstanding from people with ill will. Lukewarm acceptance is much more bewildering than out and out rejection. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilwoman Hunt?
Good evening.
Good evening, love.
I too just want to thank everyone for the great presentations tonight and how we're moving the city forward. I again want to thank our staff for the great job that you're doing. Chief Lawfer for your continued guidance in our department, and to everyone for all that we're doing to help our city move forward. It's just great to see progress being done and things moving in the right direction. So I'm gonna be very brief tonight, but I just thank everyone for that. I would like to make one mention. Tonight, I realized that we're now being called council members as opposed to council woman or council men. And I'm not sure why we're doing that, but I would prefer to keep the title that I had. I am a woman. I'm proud to be a woman as well as a council person. And I would like for that to be joined as Councilwoman Hunt. So please let that be noted. And that's what I would prefer to be called. Thank you.
Thank you.
Councilperson Alameen.
Good evening, everybody. I just want to say thank you to everybody who continues to join and be a part of it, of the meetings. And I think it's very, very important for the community to take part in our council meetings so that we understand any concerns, any issues, the positives that you like about the city. So I want to say thank you so much for choosing Coatesville. We are so happy that you decided on us, and I look forward to your ribbon cutting. Mr. Logan, I want to thank you so much for all of your hard work. I want to thank you for always looking to see areas that we can best serve the city with our finances, because you know that is my number one pet peeve, is the money. So I appreciate, I want to make a penny holler. I appreciate all your hard work in that area. And Mr. Troutman, thank you so, so much for all of your hard work working with Mr. Logan. I'm so proud of the fact that we have a true balanced budget, no tax increase, no withdrawing anything from the rainy day fund / trust fund. Different people refer to it differently. And Mr. Houston, I'm very happy that you have become part of our family as well. And I look forward to continuing to work with you and Mr. Logan and my fellow council members to continue to keep making Coatesville a better place to be and a place that folks want to be, to live and work. And so thank you to everybody for everything that you've done, and have a great night. And Susan, thank you too, because it isn't that you just chose to bring your business here. You have done things in the community and with other people. And so I thank you for that as well. Have a good night, everyone.
Thank you. Councilperson Green.
Councilwoman. I'm good with that. But
You're a woman too.
I'm a woman.
All right.
Listen, I'm so grateful and appreciative to everyone who chimed in tonight, who came out and even viewed the meeting on YouTube. In this climate, there's so many, things that are going on, and there's such an uproar when it comes to policing. And as we were watching the meeting, I was kind of following the comments on YouTube, and I appreciate, and I understand, and I empathize. However, I think that, the answer is not firing people, terminating people. The answer is roundtables and sitting down. And I know that they have one roundtable already, and I know Mr. Logan is planning some more. But with this COVID-19, it has put a damper on a lot of things. But I do hope, and I really sincerely believe that the bulk of our community is supportive of our department. And I know that there's things that have happened that we don't always agree upon. However, I do trust and believe in the chief, and I thank him for having such an open door policy and allowing even the community members and us, and I think that we have to look at the whole entire picture sometimes. When I was viewing the comments, some of them were not really good comments, and I understand that. but you have to always keep communication open. You have to be prepared to change. You have to be prepared to voice your concern and make it count. But voice your concern in a way that is legitimate, that is respectful, that you can get people to listen and to make the change. You know, there's always room. And I really hope, you know, even on next meeting, when the officers are here, that we have the opportunity to speak to them regarding what we see Coatesville and what we want Coatesville to be like and what we want to see policing to be like in Coatesville. And again, Chief, I do respect you and I respect your decision. I'm not a trained officer, you know, and I'm not trained in police work, you know, but I do trust your judgment. And I just hope and I know that thus far I've been satisfied, and I know whatever concerns that we all have, and you have been willing to sit down, and I know you're planning on meeting with us in this week here coming up. So I just wanted to acknowledge that and to thank you know, just to put it out there too, you know, again, some of the comments that I did see on YouTube. You know, we have to, as a community, you know, and I'm speaking to the people that live here in Coatesville. You know, on the outside, I can't, you know, the ones that live outside the community, I hear you also. But at the same time, I got to look at the residents that live here because that's who I represent and that's who I fight for. And, you know, in the midst of all of that, there was a lot of positive things and there's a lot of positivity going on in the city. But guess what? If we don't have law and order, we're not going to have any of it. And see, I've lived here all my life. So I do remember how terrible the streets were. I remember the open air drug market. I remember all the shootings and the young men. There's been so many young men that have been gunned down in our community. But it seems as though we forget about that part. We forget about the gun violence that is happening in our community. We forget about all of that, and we never want to address that. But we want to address the policing issues. And let me tell you something. You know, the chief will tell you I call him a lot because I'm concerned. You know, and if there's something going on, I want to hear about it and I want to know about it. But there's so much going on here that I thank the chief for what he has brought here to the city. We've not had leadership in our police department like this in a very, very long time. For those of you that have been around and those of you that have been on council or just lived here and you know what we went through, you know what this community was like, you know, so you know, it's not one decision, it's not one thing. You know, I have to look at the overall picture. So again, Chief, I do thank you. And whatever you know, whatever, you know, comments that I have to take, you know, because I'm trying to do what's right for the city of Coatesville and our residents. Miss Linda Lavender Norris, I want to just thank you so much for your hard work and dedication to that train station. You know, meeting after meeting after meeting, year after year after year, even before council. So I thank you for that. Because now we see it coming to fruition. We see the fruit of the labor, and I just appreciate because we all know how that was going. And if it wasn't for you being there, if it wasn't for the you know, just taking them back and reminding them. So I thank you so much for that. I thank you, Sue. You know, I always thank you. You know, you're committed to the city. You bring lunches and food to the CYWA, which is, you know, my biggest passion aside from council. I appreciate your being here in our community and the work that you do and the things that you do. You are one of our biggest cheerleaders, so I do appreciate you. I appreciate every council member. You know, we all have our own things. We all have our own opinions and we all have our own views on things. And we need that, you know, but so when we have our meeting together with our chief, you know, we can sit down and hash out and discuss our concerns and make them known. And, you know, we just have to move forward, you know, and our community is our community, and our community has to be safely maintained, and we want our officers to be respectful of our residents, you know, but we also want our streets to be safe, you know, and some of these officers, I don't really know anything about the promotions. I don't really know some of them, you know, but you know, a couple of them I do know. you know, and a couple of them I've had concerns about. But I do know that it's not just the one concern that I might have had that goes into a decision. It's just like us on our jobs. You know, we might make one mistake or we may have, you know, a bad month or whatever. But when it comes to us getting our promotion or getting our raises, it's not based on one thing. It's an overall, you know. So, you know, we have to put our concerns out there and make it known to them on what we expect and what we think and what we need to happen in the city of Coatesville. So with that, thank you again. I appreciate everyone. Mr. Logan, Mr. Houston, Rich, everyone, all of the employees. I'm just excited right now. So thank you so much.
Buzzer went off a minute ago.
Thank you.
Listen, Mr. Folks, I'm sorry.
No, Carmen, you did good.
I'm so sorry.
She had a lot of love tonight.
I did, you know. I don't like. I mean, you respond, and I'm just trying to, you know. I just seen, you know, some stuff that, you know, when we see the good comments, you know, we get excited, but we also have to embrace the
Bad
negative
comment,
comments
yeah.
too, and figure out how do we fix this, you know, how do we fix it? Where do we go from here? So thank you all so much. Have a good night.
I echo my colleagues in the gratitude for our staff, our residents, definitely our investors and our developers. I want to end it on a light note tonight, because I truly believe we're in these positions not for us specifically, but for our community and for the generations to come. So we have to consider what we do now, because it will affect the lives of our children and grandchildren and great-grandchildren. What do we want to leave here for them? We know what we had when we were young. We know what the city of Coatesville was. Our children and our grandchildren don't know so much. So we're going to have to be mindful and ensure that we leave the city of Coatesville better than we found it for those coming behind us. I want to share a letter I received in the mail here. It's actually Councilwoman Green's constituent, and I am going to get this letter to you, Councilwoman Green.
Yes.
The young lady sent it to me, I guess because I'm president, but I would like for you, because she's your constituent, I would like for you to reach out to at least
Thank
her
you.
family.
Okay.
But the letter says, Linda Lavender Norris, hello, I am in 3rd grade. I am writing this letter to tell you how good our community is. I like how we join together to help each other. I like all the events that are planned in Coatesville. And it says, thank you, Kinsley Farrer. Like, how awesome. How awesome for a baby, 3rd grade, to take the time to write a letter about her community. Not about
That's
us as
awesome.
council, but our community.
Yeah.
This
That's
is what
awesome.
it's all
That's
about.
awesome.
Isn't
Mhm.
that amazing?
That is. That's awesome.
Yeah.
It
Yes.
makes you smile,
It
doesn't
blessed
it?
me. Yeah, it brought a big smile to my face. It blessed me, you know, that I think about the Bible when it says, out of the mouths of babes.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
We have to be mindful, y'all. Thank you. Hush, Councilman. Thank you. God bless you all. And please be safe. Well, hopefully you are home. But if you're not, be safe out there. God bless you. And I did hear, I think it was our assistant manager mentioning that they're expecting the roads to be a little icy in the morning. So be mindful, be safe, and God
Yes.
bless you all. Can I get a motion to close?
So
I would
moved.
like to first, can we just let Councilwoman Hunt know that we love her and we're praying for you and your family.
Oh, thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank
Absolutely.
you.
That we
God
can
bless
do
you.
to help.
For your family.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you so much.
Our condolences.
Our
We love
condolences.
you.
Love you too, and I appreciate it. Thank you.
Absolutely. God bless you all. Have a blessed evening.
All right, poll
I'll
council.
make that
Um,
motion.
Don't we have to,
I make that motion.
Second.
Before we do that, can I say something? Since we
Please.
offered the condolence, I want to, and I know that the public is listening. I want to make sure, because everyone knows how sick my husband had been.
Oh, yes. Amen.
It's not my husband that passed. It's my oldest brother. So I just wanted to make that clear. And thank you so
Yeah.
much.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, love.
Thank you.
I'll make the motion to adjourn.
And
I'll
Mr. Pope second. Poll council, please.
Councilman Folks,
Yes.
Councilwoman Hunt,
Yes.
Councilmember Alameen,
yes.
Councilmember Graves,
Yes.
Councilwoman Green,
Yes.
Councilwoman Lavender Norris.
Yes, God